It's 2 a.m. Your pregnant wife Chanel shakes you awake. Her contractions are just 8 minutes apart. Time to move. You go to turn the light on, but the power's out. Then you pull back the curtains, and the sky is an eerie bright red. Whoa, are you dreaming? You look up directions for the nearest hospital, but weirdly, your phone thinks you're in a lake. Suddenly, the streetlights start to dim. A transformer explodes 3 blocks away. Next thing you know, the entire skyline goes dark. In the city, people start panic buying like it's COVID-19 all over again. Others race to get cash, but the networks are down. Today, we're putting you inside the first 72 hours of an epic solar storm that could trigger a global blackout. Known as a Carrington event, scientists believe there's a 12% chance it could happen in any given decade. But are we truly prepared? Could an extreme solar storm wipe out the internet forever? How did we narrowly miss one of the worst solar storms on record in 2012? And what would have happened if we didn't? And what alternative fuel source could help us keep the lights on in the places that need it most? This is how to survive a Carrington event. You head home from the office and see hashtag end of the world is trended on social media. You assume it's yet another meme taking on a life of its own and don't even bother clicking. First Jimothy, now this, what's next? An emergency alert pops up on your phone. A geomagnetic storm is on its way in less than 18 hours. But you get a call from Chanel and don't see it. She's not supposed to be due for another 6 days. The hospital bag and car seat are all ready to go. She's the only thing on your mind right now. But almost 200 years ago, history gives you a reason to pay attention. The Carrington event, named after British astronomer Richard Carrington, was the first solar flare ever to be recorded. On a quiet September day in 1859, Carrington witnessed 2 brilliant patches erupt from the sun in his private observatory. The bright flash Carrington saw was a solar flare, but that was just the initial spark. What followed was a coronal mass ejection, or CME, which sent a billion-ton cloud of magnetized plasma directly at Earth. Nearly a day after Carrington's discovery, auroras flooded the skies with shimmering colors as far south as the equator. Some people thought the sky was on fire. Others were delighted by a pretty light show. Then something strange happened. Telegraph operators started getting shocked by their machines. Sparks flew, paper caught fire, and when some operators disconnected the batteries, the telegraphs kept working. Now, back in the mid-1800s, people weren't relying on power grids, electronics, or the internet, so they managed. But if something like this were to happen today, well, that's a very different story. And the crazy part is, it almost happened to us in 2012. A CME actually crossed Earth's orbit nearly a week before Earth passed through the exact same spot. It struck NASA's Stereo A spacecraft, which confirmed it was just as powerful as the Carrington event in the 1800s. Whew, okay, lucky. But in our scenario, we're not so lucky. When the solar flare erupts, the only people who know are the space agencies that have been tracking the sun's active region for days. On the ground level, you don't notice anything major, yet. But up high, the radiation from the solar flare causes problems. High-frequency radio transmissions are lost, and flights get diverted. GPS signals start getting fuzzy, and astronauts caught in the wrong place at the wrong time absorb a dangerous dose of radiation. The atmosphere starts puffing up like a heated balloon. Satellites that normally glide through near empty space suddenly hit a headwind. They slow down, lose altitude, and burn more fuel trying to stay in orbit. In 2022, a much smaller storm helped knock 38 Starlink satellites out of orbit. In this scenario, operators are suddenly fighting to protect thousands more. Navigation errors grow, and satellite internet becomes unreliable in affected regions. You have hours to prepare, not days. Out of caution, you buy a few gallons of water, canned goods, and some batteries. You write down the route to the hospital just in case. I mean, the baby is expected any day now. Your wife thinks you're overreacting and jokes about the end times.
That is hilarious.
You head home and go to bed. And then, the light show begins. Your wife is having contractions, and now Earth's magnetic field is all out of whack. But the storm doesn't fire lightning directly into your house. Instead, it turns North America's longest transmission lines into giant antennas. Those lines collect unwanted electricity and funnel it into transformers. But transformers are built to work in a smooth rhythm. This extra current is like someone suddenly shoving a dancer off beat. They begin humming, overheating, and tripping offline. And if enough of them go down, the blackout spreads like dominoes. Back in 1989, a geomagnetic storm left the entire Canadian province of Quebec blacked out. For 9 hours, 6 million people were left in the dark. But studies show that another Carrington event would be 2 to 3 times stronger. And it starts with your house, but quickly spreads across the city, taking out streetlights, elevators, and eventually cell towers. You can't sleep, so you open your laptop and Google, how long does the power go out during a geomagnetic storm? And then you get the dreaded not connected to the internet error. Your router is no longer working. Is this the end of the internet as we know it?
No. Wait.
Well, not quite. A 2021 study revealed that an event like this could leave you without internet access for weeks or even months. But the chances of it deleting the internet forever are very unlikely. I guess I should probably start backing up my How to Survive videos, huh? As dawn breaks, the auroras in the sky grow more vibrant. Chanel pulls you from the window and asks you to use your phone's flashlight to help her see in the bathroom. And then she screams. Her water breaks. The baby is coming. At first, you're both excited. Then you realize the severity of the situation. You try to call the maternity ward, but there's no signal. Fortunately, you still have that handwritten map. Before we continue, if you guys are enjoying the show, we'd really appreciate your support. Leave us a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. It really helps keep the lights on here in my bunker. Well, at least until the next Carrington event. Slowly but surely, the city loses power. Trains stall, cell towers switch to backup power and choke on millions of calls. Elevators freeze. With that in mind, you and Chanel frantically take the stairs down from your apartment and race to the parking garage and get in your car. As you drive out, you notice one of your neighbors has a gas generator running inside their half-opened garage. Yikes, that's not good. Some folks think a generator can solve their problems, but if you aren't careful, it can actually lead to an early grave. Without proper ventilation, carbon monoxide can quickly fill a house, killing everyone inside within minutes. As a rule of thumb, generators always need to be placed outside at least 20 feet from a door, vent, or window. Meanwhile, what starts as a blackout in your city quickly spreads throughout the world. Across the most vulnerable parts of North America, Europe, Asia, and other parts of the world, grids begin to fail. Some regions separate themselves in time. Others go dark. Ports stop unloading ships. Fuel pumps stop filling trucks. Refrigerated warehouses begin warming and food and medicines start to spoil. Within days, shelves begin to empty. And not because the world has run out of supplies, but because the machinery that moves them has stalled. What started as a power crisis is now a supply chain crisis. And because of this, the roads are complete chaos. As you and Chanel try to make your way to the hospital without Google Maps, you realize how difficult this journey is going to be. And it's not because of a lack of directions. The problem? All the traffic lights are out and cars are flooding the streets. And naturally, people are driving a little too fast and furious. With Chanel in the back, breathing through her contractions and trying to remember how far apart they are, you do your best to drive safely. Most people help. Some panic. A few take advantage of the situation. But this isn't the purge. At one intersection, strangers direct traffic by flashlight. At the next, someone is smashing a pharmacy's windows. In a blackout, fear spreads almost as quickly as the darkness. Your only goal right now is to get Chanel to the hospital to deliver the baby. But with everything going on, you wonder when all is said and done, how many people are going to die from this? Past blackouts show that darkness itself usually isn't the killer. It's what follows extreme heat or cold, carbon monoxide, contaminated water, and medical equipment that can no longer run. The longer the outage lasts, the deadlier those secondary effects become. To put things into perspective, in 2021, a winter storm in Texas that knocked out power for nearly 2 weeks killed 246 people. In the moment, you think that once you get to the hospital, everything will be okay, but it's not that simple. As we move into the next 48 hours post-eruption, you realize how much this storm has really changed life as you know it. From a distance, you see a bright light. As you continue getting closer, you see it's the hospital and feel a sense of relief as you realize it still has power, but the road ahead is completely blocked off. A stalled electric train is stuck at a crossing. As Chanel's contractions get worse, she urges you to
stop the car
and walk from here. You squeeze between cars and an angry crowd gathered outside a bank. Their savings haven't necessarily vanished, but no one can access them. ATMs are dark, card networks are unreachable, and transfers are frozen in limbo. Finally, you make it to the hospital parking lot. A nurse spots you and Chanel struggling and pulls up with a wheelchair. You assume the hospital is running on a backup generator, and every minute it's burning precious fuel. While you try to wrap your head around the situation, the nurse hands you a paper form to fill out, asking for Chanel's medical history. The computers still have electricity, but the network they depend on is down. Staff have switched to paper charts, handwritten medication records, and downtime procedures. Even if a fuel tanker is on its way, the chaos in the streets means there's no guarantee the generator is refueled before it runs out. This is why microgrids are so important in situations like these. Our normal grid is like one enormous extension cord stretching across the country, but a microgrid gives the hospital its own power island. That's why it can be a game changer. It's like a lifeboat for electricity. It's not meant to restore power to the entire world, but it allows critical buildings like a hospital or a water treatment plant to continue operating. So now the question is, how do we create something like this without relying on the main grid? One possible answer is natural hydrogen. It's one of the least understood energy sources on Earth. Most hydrogen is manufactured in industrial plants, but natural hydrogen is different. The Earth makes it underground. The challenge is finding a deposit large enough, getting the hydrogen out, storing it, and turning it into electricity. Scientists are still mapping where it forms, how much it exists, and whether it could ever be extracted at a scale that matters. One company trying to answer those questions is MAX Power. In Saskatchewan, Canada, they've already confirmed the country's first subsurface natural hydrogen system. Now they're asking the question that matters most: can it power the future? Their first well confirmed a working subsurface natural hydrogen system. Now a multi-well commercial validation program is testing whether this discovery has all the metrics necessary for commercial production. For decades, we've spent energy manufacturing hydrogen. Natural hydrogen asks a radically different question. What if the Earth has already done that work for us? Finding natural hydrogen is only the beginning. Now comes the challenge: producing it reliably and turning it into dependable energy at scale. That's what MAX Power is working to prove. If successful, natural hydrogen as clean, abundant, and affordable energy straight from the subsurface would fill many gaps when it comes to powering the world. Imagine AI data centers built around a new primary energy source. Heavy industry decarbonized from nearby natural hydrogen sources. Hospitals, military bases, communities, and critical infrastructure powered by clean energy generated directly beneath them. The real promise of natural hydrogen isn't simply a new fuel. It's a new energy paradigm. Clean, abundant, low-cost power produced at the source through modular energy systems, fundamentally changing how the world generates and delivers electricity. Speaking of delivery, let's get back to our story, shall we? As the nurse works on Chanel and tries to find the baby's heartbeat, you stand by her side, holding her hand, telling her she's the strongest person you know. And then you hear the best 3 words you've ever heard in your life.
There she is.
You and Chanel start crying tears of joy. The baby is okay. After 7 hours of screaming and sweating, your baby daughter is born. The streets are still chaotic, but for these next few minutes, you're in total bliss. The hospital asks you all to stay put for the next couple of days, just to be safe. You joke to your wife that, although she was a trooper, you're the real hero for having that handwritten route to the hospital. She tells you you're on diaper duty for the foreseeable future. You try your phone again and realize the cell towers are still down. But that doesn't mean things aren't starting to turn around. Efforts to restore power throughout the city begin. But to do so, the grid needs electricity, which is non-existent. Or is it? Here's the catch. Many power stations need electricity before they can produce electricity. They're like cars with dead batteries. They can't restart without a jump. Black start generators and battery systems are the jumper cables. They wake up one small section of the grid. That section helps restart another, and another. Restoring a whole city's power isn't like flipping a switch. It's like lighting thousands of candles one at a time. If you move too quickly, everything goes dark again. First, the hospital is restored to its full power. Then the nearby water plant. Eventually, neighborhoods around the world start to glow one by one. Some areas may recover within days. Places with badly damaged equipment could wait far longer. In a situation like this, there is no one single solution. But being prepared for the worst and hoping for the best is all you can do. Earlier warnings, protection for transformers, extra equipment, backup generators, putting the most important buildings on microgrids. If natural hydrogen, like the system MAX Power is exploring, can eventually supply local power generation, it could become one piece of that defense, especially for hospitals and other critical facilities. A situation as catastrophic as the Carrington event isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Another extreme solar storm will happen eventually. What no one knows is whether it comes next year or next century. But that doesn't necessarily mean the end of society or the world as we know it. As long as we're proactive in preparing for the inevitable, we can reduce the likelihood that something like this could be fatal. But for now, we still have power, which means you can catch another episode of How to Survive. But don't get comfy just yet. This can all change in the event of an EMP attack. We're talking planes falling from the sky level chaos. Check out our episode where we predict what could happen. We'll see you next time on another episode of How to Survive.